Hi everyone, this is Beth at CIM. Melissa's here too. She's making me do my first ever webinar. So on that note, everybody is muted, but you can put your questions in the question box and we'll go over those at the end. So the first thing you probably notice is that the screen looks a little different. It's more similar to what Compass looks like. So not a whole lot has changed here, but if you go into the case file, if it'll go, you'll see that attached files is not in the navigation tree anymore. That moved to the spot over here on the right. So again, this is very similar to Compass. If you want to download them, you can just hit the link here and you'll be able to open that up. Or you can download it from the edit mode too. And in here, it'll show you the file name, description, who uploaded it, and the date. The only thing that you can update is the description. And then you can also download it using that button right here. And you can delete it using the X in there. So that's pretty simple. They also added the comments box here. This is only hooked up to the comments in the participant info. So if you update it in there, it'll show here and vice versa. And then I think the only thing they added in the data panel here is the bookmarks. So if that's selected, it'll show up here in your quick links. And I think that is the only change within the case file. The only other new thing is that now you can manage your own users. So you will have to have the add change permissions for this in order to even see this here. So to add a user, you just select the add, first name, last name, phone number, email, and username, obviously. These are all required. So we're going to go ahead and create one here as an example. And then the username does have a few requirements. It has to be more than 6 characters, but less than 50. And it must begin and end with an alpha or numeric character. And then this doesn't have to be capital anymore. It can be however you want it to be. So I'm just going to make it Bunny B and save. And then we're gonna add a password. So you have a couple options when you're adding users. You can create a password for them, just like a fake one, and then hit password reset. And then when they log in, they'll be prompted to change that password right away. Or in the details page, we also have the send welcome email. So that will send them an email. It'll look like, sorry about that. It'll look like this, and they'll just click on this link. It'll open the login page. So they'll just put in their username and the temporary password, and then it'll show a password reset screen. And then once they save that, they'll just return here and log in using that. The other thing we have is the forgot password. So if they select that, you'll see this screen here, and you'll just put in the username and hit next. And then the system will send them an identification code. So after they hit next, they'll see this screen. They'll take that code, put it in here, hit next, and then it'll show them a password reset screen. And then once that is done, it'll take them back to the login. So that's that part. You also have the option to generate a password, if it'll work.
You click in the field.
And it is not working right now. Sorry about that. But that'll just come up with a random password. And they can also use that. And then we have our user permissions. So to even log in to Critical Incident, all users will need the Critical Incident selector. And then in order to see the incident, they will need the view. And if it's typically they will need the add change in order to even add an incident. And before the add, change, and delete were together. So all users were able to delete an incident. So you'll probably want to add that for every user as well. And then to even see the supervisor review node, they'll need the view button. And then your supervisors or designated staff person that will be approving and reviewing the critical incidents will need the add change as well, and probably the delete. So for your users to even delete the critical incident, somebody with the supervisor review, add, change, delete will have to delete the supervisor review node first. So they would need approval from a supervisor in order to even delete that. And then any users that you guys want to be able to manage users will need the add change. And then you also have the option to just have users view the permissions. So if they only had view permissions, then they can see everything in here, but it'll be read only. They won't be able to update anything at all. And I think that's everything, unless Melissa, you can think of something that I might have missed. But there's not a whole lot that did change.
The only thing that's related to this release is that everyone's passwords are changed. They're not changed, they're not set. So when every user of yours comes into the system, their accounts are still there and they still have the, the agent code prefix right now. And when they log in, they're going to need to do the forgot password process. So they'll click forgot password, type in their username in that next screen, wait for an email to come. And then when the email comes, then they get the identification code, and then the page is already loaded there. They shouldn't leave that screen. That's an important part. You can't get back to it after you've initiated the email. It'll be a different code the next time. You'll just be sending yourself multiple emails. So stay on that page, and then go look at your email, get your identification code from the email, enter that in here, and then they'll be able to set their new password. So everybody's going to have that because of the new security rules we've got in place, which, Beth, can you tell them the password requirements now?
Yes. So it has to be more than 8 characters, but less than 65. It cannot contain the first or last name of the user, and it cannot be a dictionary word. So it can have a dictionary word in it, but it can't be just dictionary or
password.
Password, yeah. But I think that should be it. Yeah. Okay. See if there's any questions here. Anybody have any questions?
Looks like Cheryl has a question. If you click the unmute the one underneath, Cheryl Griffin, sorry.
Oh, I see. Sorry guys, this is my first one, so I don't know really what I'm doing on this webinar.
Cheryl Griffin, you've been unmuted, so you can ask your question.
Okay, hi, everybody. I just wanted to confirm that we can eliminate the region code now and the user ID.
You could.
Okay,
Your existing users have it now, but any new users, you don't have to have that anymore.
okay. And then the second question is, are there any new reports added to the system, or are there the same reports that we've had all along?
Same reports.
Okay. Will there be an opportunity to get new reports, or that's based on MDHHS?
MDHHS is the one that asks us and pays for the system. So if you want new reports, then they would have to approve us that to develop that.
Okay, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
We have to edit all the permissions for each user.
Well, we have to edit all the permissions for each user. When you're adding them, so the users that already exist, those same permissions will be the same. But for new users, yes, you'll have to add those.
Or if they need to have the managed user, since that's new.
Yeah. So if there's somebody that already exists that you want to have that, you can just go in and add that to them.
And we'll be adding the managed users to the person that was sent to us to add that, and then they could add more users to managed users if you wish them to. That's one question I wasn't sure about with the delete. Did they all get the delete permission too on the critical incidents? Or do they have to grant that if they want them to delete with the conversion?
I think that's a good question. I think that the delete had been granted because before it was add change, right, already had the delete in it. So I think that it was granted, but we can check into that.
Okay.
All right.
Are there any other questions?
No other questions? Hi, Mary.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so existing users do not need to change their username, correct?
Correct. No, I don't think you'll actually even be able to edit the username. It'll be what it was before. But any new users, you can add that username however you would like.
Okay, and for existing users, they will need to change their password. Will that be when they need to log in to, if they have a new critical incident that they need to report? Or do they need to do that now just to be able to access the critical incident software, or do they just need to do that when they have an incident to report?
I would recommend that they do it now before just since the whole process is new and fresh in everybody's mind, I would recommend them just do it now and then set it to something that they would remember for the next time.
Yeah, because otherwise they can't access the system at all until they've reset their password.
Okay. All right, and then in order for that to happen, who needs to actually do that? Can they go into the critical incident software now with their existing username and click that forgot password link themselves?
Yep, so they'll do it themselves. They'll just go to, here, I'll pull it up here again. They'll
Okay,
just
so
go
they
to
just
the-
need to go, okay, got it. They just need to go to the actual login page, enter their existing username, and then just the forgot password link.
Yep, yep. So
Okay.
they won't even have to put their username here. They can just hit forgot password. Then this
Okay.
screen will show. They put it in there, and then they'll get the code, and then they reset it on the next page.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
And then everything else is for the actual brand new individuals that we're adding to the critical incident software that we can do on our end.
Yes. Yep.
Perfect.
So you'll
Got it.
do it
Thank
on-
you.
Yep. No problem.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Doesn't look like it. All right. Thank you all. Have a good day.